Pancakes, the musical. Somewhere in space, a space cat girl in a space bar sobbed into her space booze. "I'll never find a mate in time for my space heat," she wailed. The other patrons, who were thoroughly tired of this bullshit, collectively edged away from her. Just then, the door swung open and a human stepped in. He was sexy in a way that sounds like a very flattering description of you, the reader. He strode over to the counter and sat down next to the space cat girl. "Godspeed, comrade," the other patrons thought collectively. "Space bartender," he called, waving the being over. He slammed down some space money. "I'll take a vodka." "How much vodka?" asked the space bartender. "I'll let you figure that one out." The space bartender squinted at him for a moment, grabbed the space money, and produced an entire bottle of vodka. "Got it in one," said the human. Then he drank the whole thing. The space bartender mumbled something about alcohol poisoning and walked off. "Gasp!" gasped the space cat girl. "Even a sip of that stuff would kill a member of the space cat people." The human chuckled sexily. "Well, I'm no space cat people, am I?" His eyes roved over her body, which was uncannily like a human woman's for a species that bore no relation to humanity. In fact, it was exactly like a human woman's, except she had cat eyes, a tail, and impossibly huge breasts. They were kind of grotesque, actually. You should be glad you're just reading about them instead of looking at them. Also, she was green. "You have a name, kitten?" "Naria," she said shyly, blushing an even darker green. "I'm Joe Hammerpenis, but you can call me Joe." He waggled his eyebrows. "Lovely to meet you, Naria." Naria shivered. Something about hearing her name in that sexy human growl sent a rush of heat through her. No, wait. Not heat. Space heat. "Oh, no!" she cried. "Joe, your overpowering masculinity has sent me into space heat a whole space week early." Joe grinned roguishly. "Baby, I've got the cure for that right here." He pointed to his crotch, but like in a sexy way. Naria swooned. "Fuck me, Joe," she begged. "Anything for you, baby," Joe said, "as long as you got tits and a hole to stick it in." He scooped her up in a display of his incredible human strength. Naria swooned again when she saw how muscular his arms were. Joe carried her out the door, bridal style. The other patrons breathed a collective sigh of relief. Naria thought they were going to have to get a space cab, but Joe simply jogged the 17 space miles to his apartment. "You humans are so superior," Naria said, and then she swooned again. She should really get that checked out. By the time they got inside the apartment, Naria's space heat had fully taken hold, and she was writhing helplessly in Joe's arms. "Put a baby in me, Joe," she panted. "Put an unholy, half-human affront to nature in me." "Your wish is my command, darling," he growled attractively. Then he literally ripped off both their clothes. That was definitely going to be a problem in the morning, but neither of them was thinking that far ahead. Joe shoved his throbbing man-rod into Naria's dripping lady cave. No lube or foreplay was necessary, because space catgirl vaginas are exactly like human vaginas, but better. No condoms were involved either, which was stupid. I mean, Humans probably can't get aliens pregnant or exchange STDs with them, but that's not the kind of thing you want to learn the hard way. Neria screamed in ecstasy.
"Oh, you're so big, Joe! Much bigger than the Xeno scum I usually sleep with."
In reality, Joe's penis was small for humans. But since space catgirl vaginas are made to accommodate the much smaller space catboy penis, this was probably a good thing. Otherwise, the results would have been gruesome. Joe, however, felt no need to inform her of this. "You know it, baby," he said instead. It got rather repetitive after that. Joe jackhammered Neria's moist entrance with his turgid womb warrior. Most human women aren't really into this. But again, space catgirl vaginas are just better. Eventually, Joe exploded. Not literally. That's just a fancy way of saying he came. The feeling of being filled with his glorious human seed made Neria explode too. Again, not literally. They collapsed onto the bed, which I forgot to mention they'd been on this whole time, exhausted and sated.
"Oh, Joe,"
Neria sighed into his neck.
"you're the best I've ever had."
Generic Pancakes reference, kitten, Joe said. Generic Pancakes reference.